It is 82 days to the 2020 general polls. Hello, welcome to Election Brief with me, Gifty Ando Apia. This afternoon, infrastructural projects constructed under government's $1 million per constituency program lacks transparency. That is according to the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. We have details coming up. We'll also take you to the Amenfi West constituency in the Western region for Voters' Voice.
Chinaba say woni siko uwo siko ubetumi ko be free mpuntuo say fa mpuntuo ho sebe mobo awose region ase no city ebia no ho ayama yetimbundu mamsa ndu so dia asawundu aba.
The deputy head of our political desk will join me for an in-depth analysis of that constituency. And Vice President Dr. Bawudu Bawumia cut short for the construction of the Takoradi PTC interchange project, secondly Takoradi Metropolis.
This interchange will bring to 6 the number of interchanges that the government has started.
We're live on your DSTV channel 421, GoTV 144 on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can follow us on JoyNews on TV. We stream live on myjoyonline.com and on YouTube. I'm Gifty and Apia. Do stay tuned. You're welcome with me. I've got the details. Asankregwa is the capital of Amenfi West Municipal District in the Western region of Ghana. That is our destination for today's Voters' Voice.
If you say what's the region I said ma titu Asankregwa. In fact, your program but Osha a gremo what's the region so and the pen now so for free what's the region I said near the akọ. And so baba share ya kwan any ya tibia mu krampo na sabe. Because you Ghana crumple there, Yankahu, Osha, Timber, Gold, Bossad, Mangani, Adibian one myself, was already a same. And so, a double be say, and Punto, Safan Punto, Sabi, Mobile, was already a same. Omumwaya, Oma Dada, and to me, I'm young, Masima, and come out to my confirm my head, Chabosum. It's as a Michelle, Nissan, and Numa Sema, or the Nissan or Kekan, Kuma, any year Baba, Ghana paying for, I told you now to a guna, on being as a quabi so at that day, my Bunomo, Yana. I'm not chronoing no manoma be a costume. In fact, Ghana paying for the Omam wife. I feel the gentleman, and I'm going to better. Adia mention what to abane say. First, now we need to car, to me for bank SS. And then Yamia na Nekufu Adwaba. Or the free education aba. Say we need to go, who was to go, ubetumi ko be free. Omo wiensua, omo mo aduane so omo metro na nsem. Omo ye aduane mo omudi, se ne ohia ni bibempo. Me say me mawie school bet me kai, me ma me mebi omo wo ho a, ana me nuan mo bi omo ni sika. Na Nekufu Adwa bie kwan so obi anko free. Hwese ya toma no nso a. Oba ko university a, na woni sika ohia ni. Ohia obi a mo ngalante ma o say. Ofo ID card anyame adom na Nekufu Adwa mo akọ university no uwie a wetuatua ne nkakrakra na odi ama enu achi nso no first no na che say samre sei eduane wo den ne ade ene eduane wo fom enam saa saa enyoma na obeye ya di enuane kogugu ho ntie di sie ne short no mo de bi ba ne yenye bito nka samre eburo ne boa ya dene nso ene eburo boa wo fom ankosoro te say the first ne eburo boa te no intermediate na Nekufu Adwa free education no de aba no aboa yen intermediate me hwe ho na mato aba ma no esem ma yembundu ayi city ebia no ho ayama yetimbundu mamsa ndu so de asawundu aba ndi ehu enyina kra egina so ere to aba no endi hu hwe na hu hwe edi se ho anhwe aba no yando
promoting your best son. Ah, your best son. So one just sit now, my I am draba. I am bread.
Well, is it apathy, as in, you know, we will not vote because we're tired of you, or we will not vote for you? That is the incumbent. Well, Winston Amwa is deputy head of our political desk. He's here to help us understand this constituency a bit more. Winston, it's good to have you. Let's start with the voting trend of this particular constituency and what it says about this group of people.
Well, so Gifty, there's a constituency that has consistently voted for the NDC. Now, the only time the NPP won this constituency was in 2003. That was in a by-election. Now, in 1996, Abraham Kofi Asante won the seat on the ticket of the NDC. In 2000, he retained the seat again. But in 2003, he shocked the whole country when he decided to resign from Parliament. He cited personal reasons. That actually led to a by-election at the time, and the DCE then, Agnes Sonfo, won the by-elections. In 2004, she lost the main election to John Jetien. Now, John Jetien, who became a Minister of State eventually under the Mills administration, won in 2004, 2008, 2012. Then in 2015, he passed away. And so that led to another by-election, which was won by Eric Affo. And so in 2016, Eric Affo won the main election. So if you look at it critically, it's a seat that has consistently been held by the NDC. But there's a unique thing about Amenfi West this time around.
Tell us.
Now, Abraham Kofi Asante, who was then on the ticket of the NDC and resigned from Parliament, is coming back to contest to get to Parliament. And this time around, he's doing it on the ticket of the NPP.
Interesting.
So this is a man who in 1996 was Member of Parliament. No, he won to become Member of Parliament. In 2000, he won. Then he resigns. He then was with the NDC. He's coming back on the ticket of the NPP. So you ask yourself, would he make an impact? The trend analysis from 1996, 1992, because the NPP boycotted the election, we normally would want to start from 1996. If you look at it from 1996, it suggests that, look, this is an NDC seat. And the last election, the margin was 6,000. Normally when there's a margin of 6,000, you ask yourself, can the other party overturn the margin or the gap
in the next
election in order to win? It's very difficult. But because Kofi Asante initially was with the NDC, there are some people who believe that he might get some bit of support from the NDC because he goes in there and beats Paul Dichi. Now, Paul Dichi had contested in 2016, and he was hoping to make a return in 2020. He doesn't get to make a return. The thing also is that when you have a political party in government and they set their eyes on a seat, they normally would try to win the seat.
Put in everything.
Yes, Kofi Asante is the administrator of the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication.
Interesting.
And so it makes the seat one of the must-watch constituencies.
So it also makes it one of the priority areas for the party.
Sure.
And you take a look at what happened at Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency, and it gives you an indication. I'm interested, having thought of that, I'm interested to find out what the story has been in the by-elections. Has it been peaceful over the period, or has it been very controversial, as we've seen?
The 2003 by-election and the 2015 by-election have all been a bit controversial. Been a bit controversial. I mean, I'm sure you might have heard of reports of people being chased out in 2015 when they went to Amenfi West to vote. But you didn't have a lot of casualties like you've had in other constituents. And so the narrative there wouldn't be that there's a place that had people getting injured. But when you have somebody of Kofi Asante's caliber coming into an election, you don't maintain the election or maintain that constituency as a safe seat. Any other person you probably would have said it's a safe seat. The NDC will certainly be ahead going into the polls, but it could change. Because
there's the interesting bit of the NDC candidates back then who is now coming on the ticket of the NPP. It's a very interesting constituency. And obviously the people, I mean, it's interesting to hear a woman that old who was speaking from the market to say that you are not constructing our roads, so we won't vote for you. You know, it tells you these are people who vote based on perhaps what they see. So we'll see how that goes. Winston, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Winston Amwa is Deputy Head of our Political Desk, helping us to understand the Amenfi West constituency a bit more. But I'm moving on from there and telling you about the chiefs and people of 5 communities in the Amansia South District of the Ashanti region. They have served notice that they will resist all forms of political campaigns and voting processes until the town is connected to the national electricity grid. Now led by their chiefs, resident of Adeja, Ohiampe Nika, Kofi Deaka Krom, Nyamebechre, Birichia Krom, and Jumako poured onto the streets demanding to be wired to the national grid before the December elections. Actually, they have a deadline. Now, they say promises by successive governments to provide them with electricity over the years have all not yielded any fruit. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko traveled to this area and has filed this report.
This is the Adeja Chief's Palace. It is powered by this small power generator. This is because communities here have not seen electricity for a long time. From Adeja to Jumako, Kofi Deaka Krom Nyamebechre, Brecha Krom to Ohiampe Nika, the chiefs and people have made electricity supply a major election issue. Notices have been mounted at vantage points in these towns indicating no light, no vote. Today, indigents from the 5 communities came together to give a voice to their plight.
Due to the electricity problem, our kids, in the evening time, they won't get light to do their further studies.
Light near a drain when I say yes, they are not the sun I do. A bit more the torch.
Some use torchlights and candles to study, but this is risky.
So the Jana and Shana your however.
They promised us in 2018 they will connect us to the national grid. We have not seen anything since then. If we don't see any sign that they are giving us electricity, we won't vote. The chief of Adeja, Nana Kwabena Sabin II, served notice they will not allow any form of political campaign in the affected towns until plans are initiated to connect them to the national grid. Successive governments have failed us, but if we don't see electric power in our towns, nobody should campaign here. We don't need anybody's ballot box. Let Nanado hear this, that if he doesn't give us electricity, we won't vote.
So we are talking about 5 communities coming together to demonstrate today, and the message is simple. They want to tell government that until they see electricity or power connecting to their homes here at Adeja and its environs, they will not allow any form of campaigning to go on here. They will not allow ballot boxes to come in here for people to vote. Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaridonko, Adeja, Manso, in the Ashanti region.
Now, when a group of people stand in the rain to demonstrate, you know they mean business. Well, research analyst at the CDD, Gilfred Asiama Boateng, says infrastructure projects constructed under government's $1 million per constituency program lacks transparency. Mr. Siama presenting findings from 20 constituencies monitoring report on the implementation of infrastructure for poverty eradication program IPEP also established that some projects are gradually wasting away because of government's failure to consult community leaders in the siting of those projects. Now, the monitoring report seeks to independently monitor the implementation of projects under the IPEP and to help address the institutional weaknesses or lapses that were usually associated with such interventions. Kwesi Parker-Wilson has been at the CDD. He joins me with what exactly the methodology of this research is, how we will start the conversation. Parker, it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Tell us, what did they say their methodology was? Okay,
so according to CDD, they selected 2 constituencies from the then 10 regions. That is why you get the 20 constituencies. Now, the indicators, they help them to identify or go into these constituencies where, according to CDD, the poverty profile of the district based on the 2015 poverty mapping report. So they were looking at the poverty profile of the constituency. That is one. And again, they were looking at the mix of urban and rural district based on the Ghana Statistical Service classification. So these are the key indicators for which they decided to pick the constituencies from the then 10 regions. Now we have 16 regions, but they focused on the then 10 regions. I see.
Do we know why the monitoring was concluded in February?
Okay, so CDD says that they've been doing this since the introduction of the program. That is from 2017. And this is the 3rd phase. Now they're going to do the final phase. The reason why they concluded the 3rd phase of the monitoring in February, in fact, was between February 18 and 25. That was when they did this research, is because they wanted to know how government would complete the project as we are entering into an election. Because according to CDD, when you're going into an election, a lot of the abandoned projects are being completed by government. That is one. And again, COVID also played a role at the point they had to stop because we were under lockdown, that they couldn't go to the places to interact with the chiefs and the MCs and DCs across these areas.
Let's take a look at the reactions that have come in so far. Now they're saying they're making a strong case here with the findings of their reports. There has been a reaction or some kind of reaction from the evaluation ministry. What is it?
Yes, that's correct. I mean, he was not excited that, the ministry was not excited that CDD sought to highlight only the flaws of the project. They believe that there are other good projects that are beneficial to the communities. And so they were not happy that they just focused on one area of the project and decided to forego the other. They believe that that wasn't a fair assessment of the situation. Yes. In fact, they cited the one dam, one village project as an example where they claim that a lot of these projects within the constituencies were benefiting the indigenes, and that they needed CDD to highlight some of these things, not to highlight the ones that are
create some sort of balance.
To create some sort of balance, right. Not the ones that are being positioned far away from the community, where the community are not really benefiting from the project.
Well, then I guess monitoring is to highlight gaps so that those gaps can be addressed. Parker, thank you. Kwesi Parker-Wilson there, who's been following up on this for me. Let me tell you what the Vice President has been doing. As part of his one-day visit to the Western region, he's been cutting salt for the much-anticipated Takoradi PTC interchange project for the region. The PTC interchange, which will be the first of its kind in the Western region, was captured under the $2 billion Sino-Hydro infrastructure project. This project, when completed, will transform the old PTC roundabout into a magnificent road network by reducing vehicular traffic during peak hours. The Sekende Takoradi metropolis has been experiencing an increase in traffic growth projected at 4.5% per annum since the discovery of hydrocarbons in commercial quantities.
I cannot, and it cannot be overemphasized, that the Western region is the backbone of the economic life of this country, and as such continue to attract and receive high volumes of vehicles and trade from West Africa sub-region, as well as investments from the world over due to the oil and gas opportunities. This has no doubt contributed to the traffic situation during the morning and evening peak periods. Takoradi is the largest metropolis or sub-metro in the Sekende Takoradi metropolis, and has been expanding due to the discovery of oil and associated activities, either upstream or downstream, with commercial, mining and agricultural activities leading to continuous economic growth, and therefore increase in demand for transportation and other social amenities. Road transportation continues to be the predominant mode of transportation in the metropolis, hence the traffic jams in the central business district. With this interchange coming on board, the commuter can now have a sigh of relief. There will no longer be loss of productive hours as a result of traffic congestion, and the safety of commuters and other road users will be enhanced.
Now, Roads and Highways Minister Amakwata said the interchange will be a 3-tier, which when completed will have several ancillary amenities to provide to improve the capacity of the intersection and ensure safety of all road users.
Of works for the interchange include the construction of runabout spanning 26.5 meters as the first tier, flyover bridge of span 86 meters over the roundabout as the second tier. This shall link the Aguna-Nkwanta Road to the Cape Coast Road. And thirdly, to construct a flyover bridge spanning 288 meters as the third tier.
Your Minister there, well, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the sword cutting for the construction says it will bring to 6 the number of interchanges that the NPP government is constructing in its first term.
This interchange will bring to 6 the number of interchanges that the government has started in our first term in office. We are working on the Tema, Obechebi, Lamte, Pokwasi, Nongwa, and Tamale interchange. The construction of the PTC interchange is part of the master project support agreement between the government of Ghana and the Sino Hydro construction. And the first phase of the Sino Hydro infrastructure project covers 441 kilometers of roads.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia there. Now, flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, has described sword cuttings by government as during election approaches as Sakawa. According to the flag bearer, the funding for these projects is usually non-existent. Nanaya Ojima was at the town hall meeting organized by the opposition NDC to outdoor its manifesto to the Ashanti region in Kumasi.
President Akufo-Addo and other government officials are cutting sword for commencement of various projects across the country. These projects are what Mr. Mahama is raising doubt about their authenticity. He explains all the fundings for the projects are neither captured in the budget nor approved by Parliament.
Na nananum we de sebi se omoba ukrom nom ka so mbekate soda mpacho bisa 2 questions.
If they come to your town to cut sword for a project, ask them 2 questions. Let them tell you if the projects were captured under the 2020 budget or whether Parliament has approved a loan for the project.
I saw ya mudi abebo for me for sa project. Sa project e wo buse bi amudi aba Parliament ama mo approve ya na. Se sa nyoma mienu ni ho a na che se aso aye de ababo form no 419.
If they are unable to answer, then it means the sword cutting is a scam. It's because of the elections. It is Sakawa or 419.
Elections are being and Sakawa 419.
General Secretary for the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, alleged the NPP is subtly implementing NDC's manifesto dubbed the People's Manifesto, despite their backlash. They always call us dumb. We start to write our small manifesto. And now, the brilliant ones have started implementing that. So I ask, between the dumb student and teacher, who is dumb?
na teacher wabo ane ne kwala na yesua ne nase na wan na abo.
Former Ashanti Regional Minister Eric Opoku says the NPP's stronghold of Ashanti region is yet to benefit from the $140 billion loan contracted by Akufo-Addo since he became president. He believes the NDC is miles ahead in infrastructure development.
And the dino, I'm boss a children's ward and a maternity ward. No screening, granny and yay, and your screening, and your electricals.
We roofed and screened the maternity and baby unit at CAD. Later, we realized the machinery and furnishing was capital intensive, so we started looking for funds to complete it. Later, we realized the machinery and furnishing was capital intensive, so we started looking for funds to complete it. Unfortunately, the NDC lost elections and NPP abandoned it. They just went back to it, and they are saying we neglected it. We have weighed the two parties, and we now know the difference. For JoyNews, Nana Ojima reporting.
The countdown is on. Who are you voting for and why? Keep thinking about it. That's it for the election brief today. My name is Gifty Ando-Apia. I'm back at 3 p.m. with The Pulse. We bring you the news and some analysis as well. Do stay tuned.